I mean, there's been like some really crazy shit happening in California, and I've been seeing it all over my Twitter timeline, but because it's Twitter, I don't know if it's AI. Like, have you guys found this issue where right now AI is getting just good enough to where when I see a clip online, I'm like, is this real? I don't know if it's real, or I don't know if it's a clip from a different period in time and people are trying to act like it's brand new. So it makes it really hard for me to just consume media and actually even know what's real anymore.
In case you're concerned over the fistfights and violence over at UC Berkeley, leave it to the left-wing media to say, no, you didn't see that, as a local CBS affiliate immediately went in.
Let me double check. No, it is HD, man. He's just blurry. He's just blurry. He's just a blurry boy.
Fiery, but mostly peaceful.
They have been chanting, just a very, very lively scene out here, while things have been mostly peaceful.
Meanwhile, Fox News played the entire fistfight before the conference even occurred.
We saw some of those protesters clashing with people waiting in line to get inside.
Where to see what actually happened, you'd need to tune into independent news like Amuse. Now, the only thing...
How bad was it? Like, how bad was it? Because the hardest part is when it comes to media, they're going to be trying to push a narrative, right? So, you know, Fox News is going to want to make it look like Antifa bad. Antifa did bad stuff. And MSNBC is going to want to make it look like, hey, nobody did anything wrong. Nobody did anything bad. And the truth is like somewhere in the middle, right? But I saw videos of this on Twitter and it did not look good.
You can rely on the corporate media to do is to lie. But when it comes to the people that actually have to live in reality, they'll quickly learn not to trust them, which means the left will officially lose the youth. As when these kids go off to college, they see Turning Point USA peacefully assembling over the memory of Charlie Kirk. Only if they can get past the rabid mobs of leftists chanting, F your dead homie.
You're dead, homie! You're dead, homie! You're dead, homie!
Damn, dude. I mean, like, no matter how you feel about it, that's pretty cringe to have to deal with one way or the other.
So young students see the choice of siding with the people willing to literally risk their lives to have open discussions with the other side.
That's
or
crazy.
Or they can align with whatever the heck this is. As at best, they're out there screaming with a sign saying, the lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of Turning Point USA, as it's difficult to say sheep in a group of idiots still wearing medical masks outdoors in 2025.
Dude, that's rough.
Not to mention they're waving foreign flags of countries that definitely enforce their border laws, and quite possibly the most confusing sign ever. As let's really break down their messaging, since they took all that time and effort to advertise what liberal colleges teach their students today. You got the text, all power to the people, which is a Black Panther slogan next to the BLM fist. It kinda checks out, but I still don't know how it's applicable to protesting free speech.
Fair. I can see where he's coming from.
But then they have the Palestine flag beside the BLM fist and the feminism logo next to their updated pride flag that includes stripes for trans, but also black and brown people. I'm pretty certain one of those flags absolutely doesn't tolerate the other two movements.
I mean, I don't think whether they tolerate it or not, I don't see how they even need to be on the same flag. They would be completely different. Dude, why was EBT a thing on the banner? It's so goofy. Well, because they're just latching different movements. You take one movement and then you just latch additional movements onto it to try to gain support. Because the one movement by itself doesn't have enough support. But if you latch a whole bunch of movements together, then you have enough people for support. But the problem is, not all of these latched teams care about the same thing. So what ends up happening is you have a conglomerate of people yelling a disjointed message that doesn't mean anything, and basically you have no idea what you're trying to get. It's all about optics. They're all virtual signers, grifters. Yeah, basically. Yeah, they don't actually believe in what they're saying. It's just the optics of it, right? They just want to look good. Yeah, there's no reason EBT should have been on that flag. There's no reason black and brown people should be on the LGBTQIA2 soul flag, right? With trans people. Why do black and brown people need to be on the same flag? Like, why are they on that flag? You know, somebody put them on the flag to try to garner support from them for a completely different cause. And a cause that really has nothing to do with it. Like, nobody has problems with the sexuality of black and brown people.
Too bad there's no place these kids could go where they could learn why that is. And that's not even unpacking why they added skin color to the pride flag. But the cherry on top of the sundae that is their stupidity isn't whatever random flower this is, but the fact that they actually wrote EBT on this banner. As the left's activism is now just AI-generated word clouds of anything and everything that makes them feel emotional, makes it on their sign, no matter how contradictory or nonsensical it may be, as somehow food stamps became a symbol of fighting free speech on college campuses, as they congregated over the idea of, quote, ending a youth-oriented campaign of incitement to violence, by showing up in masks, holding signs saying, "Bears bash fascists," saying, "Stop the violence of free speech," by showing up not only waving signs saying you'll beat them, but also literally beating them only looks stupid because it is stupid, which is a great advertisement to UC Berkeley's admission system. So of course they quickly resorted to violence, as this man in Charlie Kirk's Freedom shirt was met with chants of F ICE.
Dude, I'm a firm believer in biology. Yeah. No, yeah. I definitely, there's a huge conversation about certain things. I'm a big fan of letting you do whatever you want to do, as long as it does not directly impact anybody else. Your choices, your life decisions, the way you think about things, the way you approach life, what you do at home, what you do in public. I do not care. I 1,000,000% do not care what you do, as long as it does not directly impact somebody else. If there is a chance that your decision can directly impact somebody else, then your decision is superseding the other person's ability to make a decision. So your ability to make a decision is not more important than somebody else's ability. And you do not have the right through your decisions to take away somebody else's ability to make a decision. There are lines that you can cross that prevent that from happening. And I am 100% against you crossing that line. Your issues that people expect you to live their delusion? Exactly. You can live whatever life you want as long as I'm not forced to live it. Or you trying to force me to respect your world viewpoint is taking away my ability to have one. So why is your viewpoint, right? You're effectively telling me my viewpoint is superior to yours, and unless you can provide concrete proof on why it is, then it is just your opinion. And your opinion might be super valid to you, but it is irrelevant to me. And the only thing that matters to me is my viewpoint. And I'm not going to change my viewpoint to your viewpoint just because you said so. Because you could flip that coin and I could say it back to you. And then you're like, well, it doesn't work that way. No, it does. You don't like it because it hurts the way you feel. But you're okay to hurt the way I feel. And that's just so dumb, and it's so asinine. One person's fantasy shouldn't be forced on another person's reality. Plato, probably, maybe, absolutely, maybe, probably.
Stop the kidnapping! Stop the deportation!
Only for a masked man to take his shirts, toss them to the ground, and when he gave chase, a second idiot started punching him. And as both of them were being arrested, the victim got taunted for being white and attacked.
This whole situation should have never happened, right? This is one of those, like, if somebody does it to you, you should be able to do it back, and there should be no repercussions, right? So in this situation, he's there. He's doing his, like, First Amendment right of free speech. He's peddling wares. He's not hurting anybody. He's not yelling at anybody. He's not doing anything. He's just there. A bunch of people are standing around yelling at him. And then somebody comes up and takes his goods, throws them on the ground, which is, yeah, the dude was literally just selling t-shirts. Somebody comes up and decides to impose their will, which is, you're not allowed to be in my space. You're not allowed to be in this space. I'm allowed to be here, and I'm allowed to do whatever I want. But you're not allowed to do that. And then they throw the shirts, and then he takes off, and then another person jumps in and assaults him. It should have never, that whole system was wrong. The guy that threw the shirts was wrong. The guy that was selling the shirts was all within his rights to go after the guy that threw his shirts. And then the second person jumping in and assaulting him was not within his rights to do that, and should have definitely had his ass whooped for it.
When he gave chase,
right,
a second idiot started punching him. And as both of them were being arrested.
And this guy, the guy who had his shit thrown on the ground, is getting arrested. Why is the guy who had the bad shit done to him in trouble? Americans are so lucky to have free speech. Here we get arrested if you say stuff to people. Yeah, well, I mean, the EU's got it really bad right now. The EU has really bad, laws against speech and what you can and can't say right now. I feel bad for our buddies in the EU. And that's not even to go as far as, to our friends in, Eastern Europe. Selling without a permit. Where's his tax ID number? You got it, Wordu.
The victim got taunted for being white and attacked.
Hey, white boy! You're bleeding, white boy! Hey, white boy! You're
Look how aggressive they're being at the dude that was just selling shirts.
bleeding! Break it up! What happened? What happened?
Now, any rational person,
This is
or
crazy.
more importantly, student, will see this without the lens of the left's violent but mostly peaceful label and think, do I want to be on the side of freedom of speech or on the side of insane masked men holding nonsensical signs, proudly shouting
that's
how
crazy.
racist they are? As well into the evening, Turning Point attendees needed police barricades to speak freely on campus, which they're recreating an image that they should have learned about in school, all to prevent these students from hearing Rob Schneider's message.
But I want to know, are there things that we shouldn't be joking about, something that I could joke about that you couldn't, or...
You're right. I don't think that there's any rules set in stone, but I do think that if you do a joke and people don't laugh, that you get it. But I also think it's our job to challenge people. It's like the tides. They go up and they go down. And it's our job to find out where it's going up and then to push it a little bit. If I don't challenge my audience, then I'm not doing my job.
I absolutely agree with Rob Schneider here. I prescribe to Ricky Gervais, George Carlin, and all of these guys, Dave Chappelle, all of these people, I'm a big fan of their type of comedy. Yes, which is Cat Williams, another great one. Basically, you can make fun of everything. I don't give a shit who you are or what color you are. You can make fun of everything. Now, there will be social repercussions for what you say. So, you have to be willing to take the social repercussions of what you say. Because, as Rob Schneider said, there are bridges too far. You go too far, and you're going to get in a lot of trouble for it, right? And then you have to pull it back. The point of comedy to a lot of these guys was to point at things that are uncomfortable to talk about and to use comedy to get people talking about them, right? So if you're going to talk about race relations, that's a very uncomfortable conversation. But if you do it through the lens of comedy, you can point out things that are absolutely bad and get people laughing about them. And in doing so, you can encroach upon these subjects and get people thinking in a good way. And that, I think, is the beauty of using comedy properly. So I don't think that anything is off limits when it comes to comedy. And I think that some people just like to be chronically offended because that is their personality. Their personality is offended. They have no other layer to their personality.
Like that gentleman challenged me. And what he did by calling me a was he brought me to defend that position and explain something. And it was true. I was incorrect in a statement, but I'm glad that it brought up people talking because I was able to talk about it.
It's insane to think.
Wow, look, people are okay to be challenged. You can have a worldview and have it challenged, and that's not a problem. Now, for whatever reason, some people can't live that life. But for the rest of us sane people, there is nothing wrong with having a world viewpoint and having it challenged. It is actually healthy to have your viewpoint challenged in a clear, constructive way that's not combative or not accusatory.
The left literally beat a guy down while holding up signs saying EBT, or to prevent students from challenging their own beliefs, admitting when they're wrong, and simply having a discussion with the other side. But that's all the left has left. They can't challenge you in open discussion, as after they close their mind, they close their fist, and risk legitimate jail time. As first they tried to knock down the barricade to rabidly attack the students for going to a conference, where eventually one of them gets arrested.
Dude, my man there with like the blonde hair is literally trying for a clip. He is trying for something to put on social media because there's no reason for him to keep going back to the barricade and holding that sign up and just being an obnoxious piece of shit. His whole goal was to try to get the cops doing something wrong so he could point a finger at them. This was 100% performative. And I think the cops were well within their rights to take him down. 100% think the cops were within their right.
For someone to get
Dude, you can't fuck around and act retarded and not expect to be treated the way you're acting.
snatched up, possibly because Berkeley's police chief is coincidentally the same Capitol Police chief that served DC right after 1/6. Now, I'm not trying to get too conspiratorial, but I somehow doubt conservatives in Berkeley can expect justice, especially when the protests got so absurd, even hyper-left Reddit became the voice of reason. As over at r/Berkeley, a popular post requested they don't take this out on the workers, with all the top replies saying, just ignore TPUSA, we don't like them, so don't destroy our own campus over it, which is a shockingly reasonable response.
That's a very reasonable response.
For Reddit. So of course, a top 1% Redditor posted about their giant mosquito protest, with the top replies remarking how cool it was, questioning the criminality of a giant mosquito, with someone even sharing how they know who made it. It took them several weeks to build, as it was a fabulous grandma mosquito with huge eyelashes and red heels, that eventually got 4 Berkeley students arrested for felony vandalism, as they're all applauding this nonsense as if a giant mosquito that slays was going to change anybody's mind. But this is what parents can expect their kids to learn at UC Berkeley with a low price of $200,000 and whatever legal fees they also accrue. But hopefully the
Dude, 200 grand to go to UC Berkeley? That's crazy.
more desperately insane the left becomes, the quicker America's youth gets red-pilled to the truth. So if you appreciate my
yeah, when you give art grads too much time, basically. Dude, I've been wanting to see this. I'd been wanting to see this for a little bit because I'd seen the protests going on at UC Berkeley. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, it's getting to the point right now where it's really hard to tell what videos are real and what videos are fake. And I mean, obviously DecoyVoice, he's got an opinion here, and I think that it's perfectly fine to say your opinion. But I think he brought up some really good points, and I think it was a really good conversation. But you guys got to let me know what you think down below. Is this shit just getting out of control, or do you think this is perfectly fine?